Hello, friendly family. It's Aleidra Allen here, and I'm so excited to have Alexus Williams joining us today. Alexus is a local St. Louis attorney, and she is here on behalf of the Promote the Vote initiative. I'm going to pass it to Alexus for a quick minute to just tell us a little bit more about herself. So, hey, Alexus, how are you?
I'm good, Aleidra. Thank you so much for having me. It is always a blessing just to be able to share my knowledge with the community and hopefully get more people to use their voices. So, again, I'm a Missouri bar licensed attorney. I've spent some time as a prosecutor. I work heavily in public service within St. Louis City and St. Louis County. And I'm just happy to hopefully inform some people today. So, thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome. And we are so proud and thankful for all of the work that you are doing. So, let's just jump right in this. We're here today to talk about voting and more specifically to talk about our options for voting. So, we know that this is a very unique election for a lot of different reasons, but the fact that it's happening in a pandemic is a big reason why it's very unique. So that is impacting the way people plan to vote. But the main thing is we want folks to have a plan. And we want folks to be prepared to still exercise their vote, even in the midst of everything that's going on. So I really want to have a good full conversation on mail-in ballots, absentee ballots. What's the difference? How do we, who can do this? How do we do it? Because, I think we hear the words a lot, we hear the terms, but I'm not sure that we all understand. I know I don't even fully understand all the differences. So I'm super excited to have you help us out with that. My first question is simply, what is the difference between a mail-in ballot and an absentee ballot?
So they both do the same thing, but just for different reasons. In light of COVID-19, the state of Missouri opened up the option or created the option of the mail-in ballot. So it is a way for you to essentially vote absentee without having to qualify to be able to vote absentee. Missouri is one of, I believe, 13 states that still do not have open absentee voting. A majority of states allow you to vote absentee for any reason. In Missouri, it's not one of those places. So the mail-in option is for people that do not fall within one of the exceptions or categories that allow for an individual to vote absentee. So basically, mail-in is the default for most voters. Absentee, on the other hand, is something that's been around in Missouri. That has not changed, but there has been an additional category added or exception added because of COVID-19, which is the an individual being considered at risk for COVID-19. And typically those are people who have healthcare disabilities, or more concerning chronic illness issues. Also, anyone over the age of 65. So all of our elders automatically qualify. So that's the main difference. Same thing, same process, but different reasons. And it more is just making sure that people are aligned with the proper application based off of how the law reads.
Okay. Awesome. That clarifies a lot. So you kind of went into this, but just to make it completely clear, if you have anything to add, who all is eligible for the mail-in ballot and the absentee ballot?
Right. So again, everyone is eligible to, I'm talking over my words today, everyone is eligible to vote mail-in because of COVID-19. There is no particular requirement with that as to who can or cannot. As long as you're registered to vote, you can do that option. Absentee is based off of if you're not going to be here for election day. I believe religious practices is a different exception, but the big one to focus on with 2020 and in light of COVID-19 is that new category, that new exception for people who are at risk. So that again is the people who are 65 and older. That is people who also live in either assisted living facilities. I know we were at Friendly Village last weekend to help the seniors that are there fill their absentee ballot applications out because everyone was living within an assisted living facility. And so nursing home patients, people who are, in long-term or under long-term care in hospitals. We have a partnership coming up with Christian Hospital for the same type of facilities and to help people within those facilities vote. So the big thing is 65, illness, asthma, diabetes, heart disease, chronic illnesses, things that are respiratory issues, things that would make you more at risk for COVID-19 or your age or being more or less, since we in church, sick and shut in.
Awesome. So we're all eligible for mail-in ballots due to the pandemic. Anyone could vote via mail-in. However, for absentee, it's more specific to whether you are in town or unavailable for whatever reasons. But also with the pandemic, there's that specific piece for people who are more at risk and anyone above 65. I got that right?
Yes, ma'am. You got it.
Okay. See, I'm learning, y'all.
You learning.
We learning. All right. So I've been hearing a lot though about getting ballots notarized. And that's been really confusing to me. And it makes me like, okay, well, maybe I should just go vote in person because then I won't have to worry about all this. I feel like there's a lot of confusion and maybe some anxiety around just that additional step. So who has to get their ballot notarized?
So mail-in ballots, like I said, it's a default for everyone. It also is required by everyone who goes with that process to have that ballot notarized. And on the flip side, with the absentee option, the at-risk for COVID-19 exception, that category does not require a notary. Now, there are some instances with absentee voting where you do need a notary, but the big one that most people will be selecting or should be selecting if they're going to do absentee is the non-notary requirement option, which would be in lieu of the pandemic, in light of the pandemic, again, these words today, it would be the no notary because you're at risk for COVID-19. So mainly people need notaries if they're doing the mail-in option. That is a requirement, period. But absentee, it depends on the option you take. You won't need one. And for that COVID-19 exception specifically, there is no notary requirement.
Okay. So if we're doing mail-in, more than likely, we're going to need a notary. So we should
it's required.
Yes. So we need the notary if we are mail-in. If you're absentee, you most likely won't need a notary because you're likely falling in those categories that don't require it.
Right, including that big at-risk for COVID-19 category.
Yes, thank you. Got it. All right, so what is that process like? How do I get a ballot notarized?
So it's easier than people think. And like you said, that anxiety is real. So a couple of things. First, I'm going to do a shameless plug for one of our partners, which is Midland States Bank. They are offering free notary services at their different drive-through locations. We started on Monday, October 5th, and we will go through October 24th. And people can literally drive through, bring their mail-in ballot application along with the envelope that you get to send the ballot back. I'm sorry, not the application. They would bring their mail-in ballot once they get it back in the mail, right? and then you would bring that envelope that you have to send that ballot back to the local election authority in. So there's an envelope that you put your ballot in. That ballot is what actually will get notarized by the banks. So Midland States Bank is doing that for free at all of their drive-through locations during regular business hours through October 24th, just as being another beacon of light in the community. So we're super grateful to them for partnering with us on that. And then obviously we are partnering with Friendly to do a ballot notarization drive on Saturday, October 17th. From noon to 4. So that process is very simple. And our drive will be drive up as well. So it'll be as contactless as possible in light of COVID-19. But that process is very simple. Bring your ballot, have it filled out. Your ballot is a secret, so we don't need to see the ballot. But have that envelope that you have to send the ballot back into the local election authority with via mail. And we will notarize the outside of that envelope once you stick your ballot inside of it, and then you are good to go to put it in the mail.
Wow, that's so helpful. So we have organizations and banks in our community that are providing this service to help us, ensure that we do get these ballots notarized, get our votes in on time. And it's also really good to know that you don't have to show your ballot. I think that might be something that people are concerned about sometimes, of like, oh, well, then everybody's going to know how I voted and, and things of that sort. But knowing that is not even necessary for the notarization. It's mainly that envelope. So
right.
thank
you. And just to add a little bit of a tidbit with that, wherever you go and get your ballot notarized, you will need your driver's license or state ID, state issued ID. And then also just understanding that your ballot is a secret. And as Promote the Vote, our initiative is nonpartisan. So we don't care how you vote. We just want you to use your voice, whatever that voice may be. And so the big thing is just, again, having that driver's license, having the envelope you have to send it back in, and having your ballot filled out. And as long as you can do that, you can visit any Midland States Bank branch, or you can visit us at Friendly Temple on the 17th, and we will help you out and get it done.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. So y'all make sure y'all put the 17th on your calendar to come out to the church and get that taken care of. All right. My next question, what is the deadline for requesting a mail-in ballot or an absentee ballot? And when do I have to have my ballot submitted for it to count?
Right. So the deadline is the same for the absentee and mail-in application. And that deadline is October 21st. And I believe that is a Wednesday. And with that, you have to turn that application in either in person or via mail by 5 p.m. So by close of business. So you can take it for Friendly Temple. I know most people are within the city. So your local election authority is at 300 North Tucker, right downtown. And you would just take it there in person, the application, or like I said, you can put it in the mail. But if your time is getting close, I would strongly suggest just taking it in person. And if you say you can't get there, or say you have, children over the age of 18 in your home that can vote, that may be voting for the first time. I remember that experience for myself, super exciting. Different in a pandemic, clearly. But as a close relative, you can take that person's application to the local election authority for them. So you could collect them all, everybody in your family, and make one collective trip there. Or again, mail them in. If you're going to mail in your applications, each application should be mailed in a separate envelope.
Yeah, and I really, really appreciate you mentioning, how important it is for us to be collective and look out for each other and helping each other get our ballots in, because we are very much encouraging everyone to make sure your friends, your cousins, your co-workers, your roommates,
all your people,
spouse, everybody, make sure everybody is voting. So be sure to share this information, share this video, even with other people in your network, to ensure that we all are aware of how to go about voting. All right, so one last question. If I don't get my ballot in time, because, you know, again, that's another thing that is causing a lot of anxiety and kind of, you know, hesitation when it comes to the mail-in ballot and the absentee ballot. If I don't get my ballot in time, say, you know, it comes just a little bit before the deadline, or for whatever reason, life happens and I don't get it mailed out in time to meet those deadlines for the ballot to count, what are my options? Can I go vote in person?
So the options are different depending on the mail-in versus the absentee. If you don't receive your mail-in ballot until, let's say, maybe October 26th, right? They say 7 to 10 business days. Really, it's probably 10 to 14 with the backlog with the post office to get your ballot back. So there's a couple of tricks. One, for St. Louis, the greater St. Louis area, the main post office is on Market downtown. I believe it's like 1500 or 1700 block of Market Street downtown. That is the main post office. Every piece of mail has to go through that post office. So if you live in Hazelwood, bring it downtown. Or if you live, let's say South City, bring it downtown. Because that is the epicenter. And from that is where all mail goes. And so that will help kind of shorten that process if you are getting closer to the deadline. But if it is too close and you are not, at least I would say 7 to 10 business days ahead of the actual election day deadline, I would suggest contacting your local election authority or bringing your mail-in ballot to your local election authority and seeing what your options may be. If you selected mail-in, absentee is a little bit different because there is the option to vote in person absentee, right? And so you may be seeing your friends with their I voted stickers and they're leaving the election authorities. I've seen plenty of people on Facebook and Instagram that have already casted their votes for November. So when you do that application to vote absentee and you get your ballot back, you can go in person to the local election authority if it's too close. If you get your ballot back on, let's say, November 1st, well, the last day to vote absentee in person is November 2nd. So you could go into your local election authority, which is at 725 Northwest Plaza for those people in the county. I don't want to forget them. Or again, 300 North Tucker for St. Louis City. And you can, it's called spoiling your ballot. And so basically that absentee is so, they're so synonymous, Lord Jesus. That absentee ballot that you receive back in the mail from the election authority, you can take it to them. They will spoil it and they can allow you to vote absentee in person right then on the spot.
Okay.
So that is kind of the difference. Like I said, mail-in is a little tricky, and to not, misinform people, I would really strongly encourage contacting your local election authority. And I know for St. Louis City that phone number is 314-622-4336. I don't know St. Louis counties off the top of my head, but visit your local county website. County Board of Elections website is through that main St. Louis County website portal, or again, just go in person, 725 Northwest Plaza.
Yeah. Okay. So with mail-in, if you're having concerns, it's getting close to the deadline, you're unsure, the best thing to do is contact your election authorities to get the guidance on your next steps. But if it's absentee, you do have that option to go in and vote in person absentee. So if you're worried about the mail, not getting there in time, or you're not going to have time to mail it off, whatever the case, that is an option. All right. Well, those are really all the questions that I have. I am just so thankful for you being here, for your knowledge. I mean, girl, you know them addresses and phone numbers. I'm like, oh, she about this life.
You
She
know, you wait. You have to speak it over
woo.
and over again. You do, and I just want to add November 3rd at 7 p.m. If you do a mail-in ballot or an absentee ballot and you mailed it back into the election authority, it has to be received by November 3rd at 7 p.m. and that is election day.
Okay.
And so just keep that in mind again with that 7 to 10 business days. And if it is too close and you don't trust it, which I completely understand,
Mm-hmm.
contact your local election authorities. Please contact them. That is their job.
Right.
So they will help you and they have resources. And again, go vote absentee in person if it's necessary. Keep your mask on, stay safe,
Mhm.
and come visit us if you need to get that ballot notarized, that mail-in ballot notarized, or those select few absentee ballots, because we will be at Friendly Temple again. Another shameless plug, October 17th from noon to 4 in the St. Louis City campus. And then again, Midland States Bank now through October 24th. The closest bank to St. Louis City is their Clayton office.
Okay.
It's right by the St. Louis County 21st Circuit courthouses.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much again. We appreciate you. And we hope that all of you, friendly family, are feeling more informed, that you're feeling more prepared to exercise your right to vote. That is the main thing. Regardless of who you're voting for, make sure you go out here and exercise your right. That is a right that we all have. It has been fought for and earned by so many people before us, and we want to do our part in our communities in this country to ensure that the things and the values that we have and the things we feel are important, that they're upheld and that our elected officials are elected based off of that. So make sure you make a plan to vote. Get out there and do it in person with a mask on and be safe. Or get your mail in now that you have all the information, or get the absentee. Just make sure that you get a plan. Make sure all of those around you have a plan. And again, utilize this video, share this video to get the word out so that we can all do our part and vote. Thank you, and y'all take care.
Thank you, Aleidra. And again, I would just say local elections are just as important. So please be on the lookout for Promote the Vote. We will be back. We have a mayor to elect next spring. Every election is important. And so
Mm-hmm.
whatever we can do to support Friendly with this election and all elections moving forward, we want to make sure that the Friendly family is heard and that everyone's voices are used.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you.